We are really glad you are with us, and for any folks who are watching on Facebook Live, we're also glad you're joining us. We will begin, as we always do, with an invocation, and Reverend Charles Johnson is going to lead us in prayer. Please stand.
Good morning. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this day, for this gathering. As we go about the business, help us to be good stewards for this tri-state, this community, that the decisions that we make impact not only ourselves, but the lives of each and every one. And we thank you so much for a wonderful day that you blessed us with. Continue to bless our community as a whole, that we be more like Christ and not be like ourselves. For we ask it all in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. Appreciate that. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Southern.
Here.
Magistrate Moran.
Here.
Magistrate Putman.
Here.
Magistrate McCollum.
Here.
Magistrate Berry.
Here.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have before you the October 12th, 2021 minutes of our fiscal court meeting. After a period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I move we approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any other corrections, clarifications, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have a busy day, a lot of guests with us today, and we welcome all of you. And we're going to start out with some friends from the Kentucky Association of Counties, Ms. Shelley Hampton, who handles their government affairs department, and Jim Henderson, who's president of CAECO. Jim, I'm going to give you the floor and fill us in on why you're here today.
Thank you, Judge and Fiscal Court, and it's always great to be out in the counties, and we appreciate the folks here in Henderson County. You've got a great group of county officials here who make up who we are as CAECO. So I was a former county judge and have a personal appreciation for what you do at the county level, and so thank you all for what you do, and thank you for being great, again, partners with all of us at CAECO. I also enjoy, Shelley and I both are central time zoners. So while we work in Frankfort, she's from Davis County and I'm from Simpson County, so we love being west of 65 for any reason at all. So thank you for letting us be here. So when I became director of CAECO a couple years ago, a few things that I noticed, and one was that a lot of other associations had done a really good job of recognizing legislators for things that they did to help move the ball for their particular association's interests. Many, the Chamber, the League of Cities, Farm Bureau, other heavy hitters in Frankfort had done that. CAECO, for some reason, had not actually given legislator awards. I don't know the history of that, but we felt like that was something that we should be doing. We should recognize legislators who help advocate for the county cause, and today we're pleased to, and this is our first first session that we're doing that from the 2021 session. So we're pleased to be here today to present your state senator, who is actually chairman of the Senate State and Local Government Committee, where much of the work that affects counties flows through, but Robbie Mills. And so we're pleased to be here today, in particular to thank him in front of his constituents here in Henderson for being the type of, and he's new in this role as a committee chair. It's a fairly new assignment for him, and he has been has gone out of his way to try to find out more about the county issues, the things that counties do. Not that he didn't understand some of that, but he has been very, very interested in learning about our issues, and has had a very a significantly open door. And not that he's the only one that has an open door to us, but his door has been wide open over this last session. In particular, this last session, one of the issues that was so important to us, to counties, it was one of our priority issues, was the advancement of the broadband infrastructure in our state. And Chairman Mills, Senator Mills, probably more affectionately called Robbie right here at home, was very instrumental in making sure that happened in the Senate when it got there. And between the House and the Senate, you all know there was upwards of $300 million set aside for broadband infrastructure and water and sewer infrastructure for counties. And so if it had not been for his support in the Senate and his leadership, that would not have happened. So on behalf of you all as county officials, on behalf of Shelley, our full team back at CAECO, we'd like to present Senator Mills with a 2021 County Advocate Award from CAECO. So Senator Mills.
Thank you. It's one of the nicer looking awards too. This is cool. This is great. Thank you, Jim and Shelley, for the recognition. And to be honest with you, it's a partnership. I mean, the legislative job is really multifaceted, but one of the new jobs that I've been thrust into is being chairman, and that's just kind of the conduit of where all city county legislation comes through. And it's important to have an organization like CAECO to be there to say, this is what counties need, this is what counties are thinking. I don't think they're thinking this way, you know, just to help us bounce things off. And their advocacy is well worth everything that counties pay for their advocacy, and their partnership is good for our county. But thank you so much. I enjoy serving in the legislature, and I've been working this morning. Shelley asked me what I was doing. I was like, I'm working my third part-time job. So, but thank y'all for your service too. I know each of you know that you can pick up the phone and call me, and be glad to address anything that y'all need help with. So, and matter of fact, Steve was in my office last week, and we caught up, and it was good to visit with you, Steve. So, thank you so much, Judge and magistrates, for allowing me to be here. Thank you, CAECO, for the award. Thank you so much.
We'll take a couple pictures, but I do want to say a couple things. Number one thing I really appreciate about you, Robbie, Senator Mills, is that you served at the local level before you got into the legislature. And so many, and God bless them, but so many members of the General Assembly never served at any level of government before they got elected to the General Assembly, and don't really have an appreciation, or don't initially have an appreciation for how their decisions impact cities and counties.
Right.
You do, and I think that reflects on your committee chair assignment. And you have a good man in that spot, and I do appreciate that very much. So,
Thank you so much.
Good job.
Yes.
You want to take a couple pictures?
Absolutely. And you tell us, Judge, where the best place for that is.
Bill, you want to take a photo? Thanks for the patience.
Can we flank him here? Get in there. Your folks in there.
Shelley?
You want to take it? No, you can get over there with
Shelley,
it.
jump in here. All right. Road engineer and chief photographer.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Jim, before you leave, let me ask you something, bring something up to Jim.
Congratulations.
I've already talked to Robbie about this. We have a problem with, today on our claims, we've mowed some property, we had to pay a contractor $500 to mow it. We tore some buildings down because they were dangerous for children to go into. I think that cost us $17,000 and whatnot. And on foreclosing this and even taxes, the counties have to get an attorney to be the warning order attorney, and they get paid like $350 per person. And if you've got aired property with 10, 20, 30, 40, it makes it prohibitively expensive to foreclose on these properties, and it makes it very difficult for the county attorney to do his job. And the cities, by contrast, are allowed to, they do 20 or 30 properties at a time, and all they got to do is advertise it in the paper to get service. It is really, in my opinion, important that we do this so we can get these properties back on the tax roll so that they can get school taxes paid and different things, rather than just letting them sit and be a mess. And Robbie's already, I've talked to him about that, but if CAECO could sort of help get onto that. I don't know how the city's got that and the county's got left behind. I don't know.
Judge, I don't want to be respectful of your process here.
No.
Actually, Judge Snyder and I talked about that briefly just before court, and you all actually have the person who has actually been working on making the playing field the same for counties as it is for cities. Chairman Meredith actually, and I will have to defer to both he and Shelley on the specifics of the legislation, but in this last session even, we broadened some of that blighted property legislation that had previously been lots more favorable to cities, but not counties. And as I told Judge Snyder, I mean, again, having been a county judge, this issue probably more often has occurred in cities. Obviously, cities got ahead of this some time ago with legislation that made it very favorable to cities to do this. I think now we're seeing with more urbanized counties, areas outside the city limits where this is a problem, that we want that same type of seamless, easy process for counties. So I think actually this legislation.
We were just whispering, I think we have to double check, but we'll get back to you on that.
But if they're still tweaking to
Right.
that,
I should've
that
known-
would make it even better.
Right.
We absolutely can get that. I mean, again, we have the man here who can get
Well,
that done.
Well, I apologize for bringing it. I should have known
Yeah.
Brad would have already hit you up about that, but I just wasn't here.
We
when
just
you did
briefly
it.
talked before court
I
about it,
appreciate
so,
it. Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. And we know you got to run, but I appreciate you taking the time today.
Yeah, thank you all.
And you're welcome back anytime, trust us. Next, one of our favorite portions of the agenda is our Judges Scholar, and today we have with us Zaylin Sanders from Bengate Elementary School, and I'll meet you right up here.
By far the sharpest dressed Judges Scholar we've had.
Exactly.
I noticed that very sharp dress.
Look at that.
Okay, we're going to read a proclamation for you, Zaylin. So, whereas Zaylin Sanders has been chosen by Bengate Elementary School to be the recipient of the Judges Scholar Award due to exceptional efforts in both academics and school activities, and whereas Zaylin's hard work and dedication making the most of educational experience and developing positive relationships with teachers and other students will lead to future success, and whereas success is measured in many different ways, whether it be passing a test, scoring the winning point, achieving a particular goal, or taking the necessary steps for overall improvement, and whereas the Henderson County school system could not let Zaylin's efforts go unnoticed, and whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court supports the school system and acknowledges these accomplishments as being significant because students, such as Zaylin Sanders, will be our future leaders. And now therefore, I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive of Henderson, join with the Henderson County Fiscal Court to proclaim October 26, 2021 as Zaylin Sanders Day here in Henderson County.
Bill, I'm sorry, would you help us by putting the podium back? I apologize. Zaylin, congratulations, glad you're with us. I echo Mr. Gold's comments about your sharp attire. I really like to see that. And now the fun part starts. We are in the middle of updating, as you know, all of our county ordinances, and thankfully, We're far enough along now to have the second reading of 4 that will update our county codes. And so with that, we'll start in on Chapter 112 Curfew and let the clerk read these.
Ordinance amending Section 112 of the Henderson County Code of Ordinances with regard to curfew for minors. Whereas the Fiscal Court held a special meeting on August 16, 2021 to review its ordinances and determine necessary changes, and whereas during said such special meeting, the Fiscal Court discussed changes to Chapter 112 of the Henderson County Code of Ordinances regarding curfews, and whereas the Fiscal Court has determined it's necessary to amend Chapter 112 to update the regulation of curfew for minors to provide harmony between the ordinance of the City of Henderson and Henderson County. Now therefore be it ordained and enacted by the Fiscal Court of the County of Henderson of the Commonwealth of Kentucky as follows. 1. Chapter 112 is hereby repealed in its entirety and shall be replaced as follows. A. Section 112-1 definitions. For the purpose of this article, the following definitions shall apply unless the context clearly indicates or requires a different meaning. A minor is any person under the age of 18 or as otherwise may be phased, any person under the age of 17 or under. Parent, any person having a legal custody of a minor as a natural adoptive parent, as legal guardian, or as a person who stands in local parentis, or a person exercising custodial control that as the term is defined under the Kentucky Unified Juvenile Code, or as a person whose legal custody has been given by order of court. 3, to remain, to stay behind, to tarry, to linger, or upon any public place. 4, to allow, either permit or neglect, to prevent. It requires actual constructive knowledge on the part of the parent or guardian. That is, the parent or guardian must actually know about the minor violating this article, or the circumstances must be such that reasonable, prudent parent or guardian should have known that the minor was violating this article. 5, emergency means unforeseen combination of circumstances or the resulting state that calls for immediate action. This term includes but is not limited to a fire, a natural disaster, an automobile accident, or any situation requiring immediate action to prevent serious bodily injury or loss of life. Public place means any place to which the public or a substantial group of the public has access. It includes but is not limited to streets, highways, alleyways, and the common areas of schools, hospitals, apartment buildings, office buildings, transport facilities, shops, stores, restaurants, or other similar commercial establishments. B, Section 112-2, the hours of curfew exceptions. It should be unlawful for any person under the age of 18 to be or remain in upon any public place in the county between the hours of 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. during any day of the week. It shall be unlawful for any parent or guardian having legal custody of a minor to allow such minor to be or remain in or upon public place in the county under circumstances not constituting an exception as enumerated in Section 3 during the time periods contained in subsection 1 above.
Excuse me, Mr. Clerk. Would it interest the court in foregoing the rest of this reading and accepting summaries of these rather lengthy ordinances?
Yeah, I'm good with it, Judge.
Yes.
I was going to suggest it before we got started. I seen the link.
Okay, I think that would be a good idea. I think we're all familiar with these changes.
This is best, yes.
Thank you.
So, having heard a relatively brief summary of 112, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same with the next several. A summary be sufficient?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And do a second reading for each one.
Next ordinance is amending Section 122 of the Henderson County Code of Ordinances with regards to drugs and drug products.
Any questions about that?
It is repealing the other, so I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Next one is the ordinance amending Section 182 of the Henderson County Code of Ordinances with regard to repeal of Parks and Recreation Board. Basically, this ordinance is repealing the section that deals with Park and Recreation Board and getting rid of it.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
final one right now, ordinance amending Section 205 of the Henderson County Code of Ordinances with regard to sewers, including installation of water meters, prohibitions of cross connections, installation of backflow prevention devices, requiring new premises to provide connection where sewer service available, requiring check valves for private sewers connecting with system, establishing charges and deposits, establishing charges outside the city limits, establishing penalties, creating sewer use regulations that regulate the use of public sewers, establishing industrial or constructional activity discharges, providing for the monitoring of discharges, regulating private wastewater disposal, and building sewers and connections to sanitary sewers, establishing pollutant discharge limits, providing for the pretreatment program administration, including the fees and powers and authority of inspectors, providing for the enforcement penalties and adoption of enforcement response plans, providing for the declaration of water supply shortage and rationing in emergency situation.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you for letting us expedite those a bit. Next, I'm going to call Bill Hubiak with 2 items. First, bid request for a parking shed and then the courthouse steps. So if you take it.
Morning, Judge, members of the court.
Morning.
First item is the parking shed. We have, in the past years, outgrown the wooden power pole makeshift parking shed that we had when I got here. We concreted it in, improved it some, put lighting in there and different things, but the type of equipment we now have will not fit in there, and our nice newer equipment is sitting out in the weather. And so we have put in the budget this year we will take it down with our people, but we will purchase a new all steel type structure that will be 210 feet long. It'll need to be 34 feet in depth and 14 feet in height to accommodate both all of our trucks with the headache racks and their tarping systems, and the end loader will also fit inside the building too. Right now it currently sits outside, and we'll be able to get it under roof also. So we'd like to go out for bid for that. The bays will also be 30 foot wide, so we can get 2 pieces of equipment in each one with plenty of room to do our walk around inspections. So.
If we need it, I make a motion to allow them to go out for bids.
A motion and a second. Any other questions of Bill?
Will the great alls go in there?
No, the great alls go in the area where we currently are parking the trucks that Nancy relinquished when we put the airport hangar up. That has the length to put the great alls in there.
Okay.
We already got that taken care of, but we currently have the trucks in there right now, especially the newer Max that we just got.
Can you
So-
still use the concrete floor?
Do what?
The concrete, can you still use it?
Yeah, we're gonna take everything off, and we'll cut out for where our footers need to go at, put it up.
With this, everything will be inside pretty well. won't it?
Do what?
Most everything will be inside with this if you get this done.
We will bid out this is
So
just.
most of the equipment, you'll have a place for it to be inside.
Yeah, we'll have enough to have everything in there. We'll have 7 30-foot bays. Okay, so we'll be able to put the total patcher in there, and the other small dump truck, the loader, and all of our fleet of dump trucks will be able to fit in there. So,
Will it be an open front, or will
open front, just like we have now.
Just like it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only it'll be longer, so overhang will cover the trucks.
Right.
And we will put the engine block heater attachments on those posts. Posts will be set back at 28 feet. So even though the overhang is gonna be out 6 more feet, it'll give them easier maneuverability to get in and out.
Right.
Any other questions?
We do have a motion and a second, I believe. And after the color commentary here is complete, we'll take a vote. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Upon review of the bid on the courthouse steps that was done previously, I've talked over with Mr. Gold and the judge. There was an integral part of the bid that was not attached to the bid processing. All three bidders neglected to have the sheet that covered the county supplying all the aggregate and concrete on our annual costs. So it is my recommendation that we throw out all the bids and rebid it to make sure that we can reduce the costs down on those bids by us supplying the materials that we can on our annual contract like we always do. So,
I think it's a good move, Matt.
Yes.
You can do it again. It will drive down our costs.
yeah.
So moved.
So we want to go out for bid again.
Yeah.
And I will hand deliver to the three bidders that did bid, make sure they have the specifications. And it should be an easy bid for everybody because they've done all the calculations. They're just going to have to take out the materials that they included in there. So,
So I hear a motion?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other questions on that? Try to get that expedited and get this project underway here. So.
Okay. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Mr. Gold, any further explanation on your resolution here?
No, just essentially, our child support attorney that is reimbursed 2/3 by the state through a federal grant, she has accepted a job at a big fancy firm in Evansville, and so can't blame her there, I don't guess. But what we've decided to do is actually elevate our senior caseworker to a supervisor position, and that actually will allow us to tap into this 2/3 reimbursement from the federal grant that way. And it's Patricia Alvey. She's been there for 20-something years. I think Charlie hired her. I think it's actually a good move in that we haven't had a true supervisory caseworker in that position for a while, so I think it's going to be a real good move for us.
Would it please the court if we just read the summary on this resolution? You heard Mr. Gold's explanation of what it's all about, and so before just the summary.
Is that okay with you? Resolution regarding personnel actions in the Henderson County Attorney's Office.
Get a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Mr. Gold? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have a couple surplus resolutions. Which one would you like to do first here?
We got the county property first.
This one right there?
Yep.
Which department is this coming from?
This is a list that James put together.
Okay, all right. This is
Maintenance.
these items were brought to our attention by our new maintenance person, James Bosler, who dug through cleaning out some sections of the courthouse that hadn't been touched in a while and found these items, and they are not worth much now, but we are willing to put them on auction, see what we can get. They're not being used by anybody, so that's the story behind this first list. I'm referring to the list of about 5 things there. So, any questions on that? I have the clerk read the resolution.
Resolution declaring certain county property to be surplus and providing for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court is owner of certain personal property that is no longer of use to the county, whereas pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the Fiscal Court finds that it's in the best interest of the county to deem the property as surplus and provide for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court wishes to offer said such personal property to be sold by public auction and in accordance with law at the discretion of the Henderson County Judge Executive. Now therefore be resolved by the Fiscal Court, County of Henderson, Kentucky as follows. Pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the personal property on the list attached hereto and incorporated herein is declared to be surplus. It shall be sold at a duly advertised auction or online auction pursuant to all applicable laws at such time and place and in such a manner as shall be arranged by the County Judge Executive. The County Judge Executive or his designee is hereby authorized to make said arrangements.
You get a motion?
So move.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The next is a van from the Detention Center, and we've had pretty good luck with vans on our auctions lately. Maybe we can once again do pretty well with that. So any questions of Amy about this van that's racked up 190,000 miles and ready to be retired? Okay, read the resolution.
Resolution declaring certain county property to be surplus and providing for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson County Jailer is in possession of property that is no longer of use to the Henderson County Detention Center or by any other departments within Henderson County. Whereas the Fiscal Court has reviewed the list of properties submitted by the jailer, setting forth the item's description, original purpose, and reason for disposition. Whereas pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the Fiscal Court finds that it is in the best interest of the county to deem the property as surplus and provide for the disposition thereof. As such, the Henderson Fiscal Court wishes to offer said personal property to be sold by public auction or by selling for scrap or disposing of as garbage. And now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court, County of Henderson, as follows. Pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the personal property of Henderson County Detention Center listed on Exhibit A, which is attached hereto and incorporated herein, is declared to be a surplus. If Exhibit A designates the personal property offered for sale at an online auction, it shall be sold using a duly advertised online auction pursuant to all applicable laws at such time and in such manner as shall be arranged by the county judge executive. If Exhibit A designates the personal property to be sold for scrap or disposed of as garbage, the Henderson County Jailer shall make suitable arrangements for the disposition thereof and shall forward the proceeds, if any, to the Henderson County Treasurer to be transferred to the general fund pursuant to KRS 67.0802, Section 6.
Get a motion on that one.
So moves.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
It's going to be put online, right? And then
That's
if it doesn't sell, then we'll scrap it.
I guess that's
It will
the
sell.
alternative. Yeah, it will sell.
It will sell.
Okay.
If the last one sold, this one most certainly will sell. Okay, with no other questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. Next, we have our detention center reports from Jailer Brady. Anything you'd like to add? Oh, I'm sorry. One moment, I apologize. I jumped ahead. Animal control reports, and we have a,
Sarah
Yeah.
Scher.
yep. Sarah, if you wouldn't mind coming up and introduce yourself. Sorry, Amy, I apologize there.
Good morning.
I'm Sarah Shear. I'm the new director of the Humane Society and Animal Control. So I met Judge Schneider and Kurt yesterday. I haven't met any of you yet, so I've never done this before. I have no idea what you're going
Oh,
to
it's
ask me.
fine.
So
You're great.
we'll just go that way.
So, welcome.
Thank you.
We've had quite a bit of turnover in that spot over the years, and we wish you the very best. We have your report in front of us, so any questions, Sarah? She made the bold step of agreeing to be an animal control officer herself because we are down one, and she's willing to help out that way.
We did. We lost Officer Johnson last week. I had intended to hire a third officer to kind of help out. So she started yesterday afternoon. She was there when I got back to the office. So she's going to start her 90-day training, and then we'll get her, certified and all her training's done, and then she'll be going. But in the meantime, I'm going to fill in on doing like odd calls and helping when Officer Main's really busy. So.
Excellent. Any questions of Sarah? She is the lady to call if you get any calls from constituents. For better or for worse.
There we go.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Okay, Amy, sorry about that. Any extra comments on your reports?
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Has everyone had a chance to review the quarterly report? Not a lot has changed as far as the last report. We're finally down to our last, knock on wood, COVID cell, so,
Really?
yes. Hiring is still a struggle. We'll hire 4, lose 2, hire 3, lose 1. Some people are going back to the jobs they had before COVID. And then we've got a couple of people that will be leaving to move back home. So
How many openings you figure you have?
24 male and 13 female.
37.
Yeah.
Any questions of Amy? I guess we'll take a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor
Just
say aye.
one, Judge.
Yep.
Do we have a continuing list of applicants that's going through the vetting process?
We do, and constantly advertising. Captain Miguel Fresh is going to job fairs and things like that. Quite a few aren't eligible to work at the facility, so
I understand.
that's one of the biggest struggles right there.
Thank you.
I think it's that way everywhere. I was just noticed in the news this morning, I think it was in Florida, they had a job fair and they were expecting 5,000. They were expecting 5,000 to show up. They were just ready to be covered up. They had 100 people show up all day. So it's everywhere, and I know it's a problem for everybody. And who's the answer? I wish I had it. Thank you for it. I know it's tough.
It's tough. We've got some really, really good staff that I work with.
But
We've got some good people.
hope we can keep them at least.
Yeah. Nurses. Nurses are a struggle too, as far as coverage in the medical department. I know the hospital's looking constantly also. So.
Good luck with that. That's
Any other questions? We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amy, you want to give us an update on the possible nice solution on the driver's license situation?
Yes, actually, they will be down the end of this week to take a look at the other building. We met last week, my days are running together, and feel that it would be in our best interest to take the existing building that we have that was used for the CSC. It's been sitting empty for going on 2 years, and renovate that into the driver's license, regional driver's testing, real ID office. State inmates, as far as low-level classifications, the state's not looking at filling the jails back up anytime soon. A lot of the people that were released were low-level offenders, and the ones that haven't violated their probation and been picked back up, or they're doing well. The rest of them have committed new offenses, so they're sitting in jail pending sentencing for long periods of time. So that's 100 beds sitting up there empty. Contractors are not jumping through hoops to come out and take a look at adding 14.5 foot to the end of one building. So we'd be better off to take the CSC, which has been sitting empty, and renovate that.
Yeah, so just to clarify for those who may not know, the original plan was to build a new building. Then it was determined that one of the training buildings that are on the left side of the property as you look at the front door of the jail could be expanded, renovated. But in the end, what the Department of Transportation, or what's the governing body here, the state agency?
KYTC.
Yeah, KYTC. Only needed to add on 14 feet, which was a heck of a lot of work just to add on 14 feet to a building. And we were trying to think this through, and then Amy made the determination that the CSC, which is Community Service Facility that housed those prisoners, which had been empty for 2 years, is big enough to house this whole operation without being expanded. Is that correct? Has its own parking lot, its own access to Borax Drive.
And offices.
Offices, and it already has its own address. So.
And so merely needs to be renovated inside to reconfigure for office space, and it may be a much faster fix, much less expensive in the long run. And
Yes.
am I summarizing that correctly?
Yes. They said that with the office spaces and the existing restrooms, I think Bill advised that one of the bigger expenses would be where the control tower is, taking that out, so. We have a conference area, we've got the restrooms, we'll have to build a break area, and then just the area for driver's testing.
Yeah. So you'll keep us appraised of progress there? It sounds like a good solution. Any other questions?
It is a good solution. She brought that up to the jail committee. Do we need to take any action?
I don't think so. I think they need to keep working through what eventually it's going to cost. And
I mean, we're all on board with, I think.
Yeah. Yep. I haven't seen problems. Terrific.
Other
That's
than
good
that,
news. Anything
we're-
else?
Nope, everything else is
As it has been for
normal,
2
high
years.
level. That's about as well as we're gonna go.
We want to compliment your team for the Good News Jail Ministry golf outing you had, and I think that was successful. And your team pitched in to welcome all the visitors that day.
They
Worked out
did.
well.
A successful fundraiser for the Good News Jail and Prison Ministry program. We are hoping we're gonna be able to get our programs open back up. The state's allowing us to start to fill our SAP program now with inmates that are within our facility. But they will be in classes and meet with the counselors in their living quarters right now. So just for COVID restrictions. And then once the other jails across the state are cleared to move prisoners, then the state will start moving prisoners back to our facility.
Good.
So it'll be good.
That'd be picking trash again after they go in.
We've got to get the inmates to pick up trash.
Yeah.
All will say it.
Yeah. They would love to be doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you.
County Clerk Renise Admer now with her report.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Today, I'm submitting my September monthly report and also my quarterly report of payments submitted to the county. For September, excess fees in the amount of $121,861.85, with a total submitted $164,515.14. The quarterly amount of excess fees is $402,768.56, with a total submitted for the quarter of $557,317.78. Compared to September of 2020, our excess fees are down about $13,000 for the month and about $94,000 for the same quarter. Motor vehicle receipts are down, and delinquent taxes are too, a little bit, resulting in the lower submission. It's the time we're living in. Vehicles are in short supply, and we're kind of seeing that on the numbers. So hope that gets resolved soon.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is. It is.
Any questions of Renisa?
So you brought up delinquent taxes. Are we seeing a rise in delinquent taxes?
No, the collection. I think our sheriff's office is, I don't know what their report, if they are collecting, is their collections are, okay or not, I'm not sure, but our delinquent taxes. So, we don't get involved until they become delinquent, so.
And you haven't
I'm
noticed a rise in the number that hit your desk to go collect?
Right.
Okay.
And there were months previous where there were more
Yes,
than
we had.
years, so it's.
It's kind of a
The good news has been
balancing.
that it was easier to collect. The ones that were delinquent this year, they got collected
Right.
quicker.
Yeah.
So later on in the year now, there's less being paid because there's less that are delinquent.
Right.
So that's it, at the end, it's a good thing.
Yes, yeah, we work in connection with the sheriff. They collect, and then when they become late, then we take them over for collection, so. But yeah.
As far as collections, you've done a fantastic job because I think we're already at like 150% of
Yeah.
what we anticipated for the whole
Yes,
year. and this is
Yes.
it was way up. That's why I was asking.
Collections
Yeah.
are way up,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's less now at this time to
For collection.
collect, which
Right.
is good.
I move we accept.
We have a motion and a second on Renisa's report. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. Gold, your report.
Okay, Judge, I've only got one check today. There's a check for interest in the amount of $670.45. And before everybody says, my goodness, $670 worth of interest, when usually it's like $4. We found that one of the, there was a CD that I believe Magistrate McCollum had put in place that the bank for the last few years had just been rolling over rather than paying the interest, which is supposed to go to fiscal court. So we caught that and said, hey, you need to write us a check for all that interest back. And so that's what this $670.45 from Old National Bank is. It's some cumulative interest from a while back.
That is an old CD.
It is.
We have a motion to accept Mr. Gold's
So
report.
moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other questions? Good catch. Mr. Gold. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Treasurer Brenda Ryder with her report.
I have two cash transfers for today, from the general fund to the LGEA fund in the amount of $2,542.55. This is to correct a October 15, 2021 deposit error. From the general fund to the road fund, $1,200,000. This is a budgeted transfer.
It's how we pay for the blacktop?
I'm sorry?
How we pay for the blacktop?
Yes, sir, it
Make a
is.
One of the
motion to-
ways, yeah.
Make a motion to approve. Transfer.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions on those? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You have the bank balances after paying claims today. Your day-to-day appropriation line should be at approximately 33%. I have one additional claim from the general fund to Easy File in the amount of $16,072.22. This is for 5 plat cabinets and accessories for the clerk and is to come from the clerk's maintenance repairs appropriation line.
I move we pay the claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
Just that we do have that $500 mowing thing, and I'd like to find out, I'll talk to Bill, and I'll try to find out about where that was, but I think it was on, did they say that one was, out on by the old racetrack, I think.
Yeah,
Sunset.
Sunset Lane.
Lane. And we're getting ready to, I think Steve's office is getting ready to get the ordinance for us to change how we're doing that. Is that
Yes.
in the works?
Yes,
Okay.
that is, we've got a draft to present to the next fiscal court meeting next.
Okay. What I'm hoping is we'll look, and this won't expire the time to file the lien on these kind of things by the time we get the new ordinance done. Just want to be sure if we can get that, done.
And check with Randy. He would know exactly
Okay,
the spot.
I'll try to call Randy.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a proclamation for Diabetes Awareness Month. And Merritt Thomas, are you with us? You want to come in and make any comments before we read the proclamation?
Yes. Usually Karen Hill, my coworker and founding member of Henderson County Diabetes Coalition, stands before you. She was not available today, so I will step in on her behalf. I know we missed last year because of the pandemic being before you, but for the last 4 or 5 years we've gotten this proclamation, and I'd like to take the opportunity to say thank you for helping us create awareness about the importance of recognizing diabetes early and taking action not only to get it diagnosed, but for the person diagnosed with diabetes or prediabetes, getting education and seeking out that support. One of the things I think the pandemic has highlighted for us is access to that education or lack thereof. And prior to the pandemic, our State Department for Public Health was working to develop a virtual system where people could access classes from the comfort of their own home. That was on the scale of a pilot pre-pandemic, and it escalated rather quickly to the point that now all of us in local health who are facilitating healthy living with diabetes are able to facilitate a class. And I'd like to report that now at pretty much at any time during the year, there is availability to get diabetes self-management education and support through one of our Healthy Living with Diabetes branches. I have access to that class list and could connect people. Henderson has been fortunate through the years not to have those access issues. Usually there's been a class available through a program, whether it be through formerly Methodist, now Deaconess. The Diabetes Coalition has also worked throughout the pandemic to create outreach opportunities while they could not physically meet in person. They made available grab-and-go bags in partnership with the County Extension Service. And that was just a means by which they could connect people needing information to self-manage their diabetes with recipes, gadgets, all sorts of things to keep them engaged and keep the importance of awareness around diabetes at the forefront. So,
Well, thank you very much. It sounds like progress is being made, hopefully.
yes.
Any other questions of Ms. Thomas before I read the proclamation? We do appreciate the work the Diabetes Coalition does here.
Yes.
It absolutely helps us, and since we're self-insured, it helps our employees, and as Brad pointed out, I guess, was it last week or last session before, our insurance has stayed level for, what, 5 years now?
Premiums, yeah.
Premiums. And that's, I've never heard of that happening, and I think a lot of it has to do with our employees doing things to keep themselves in good health.
Yeah, and the program out there is excellent. Matter of fact, I've referred people out there. And the availability of your test strips, your testing equipment in general, once people are diagnosed, that stuff's expensive if your insurance doesn't cover it. And I know the Henderson County Health Department has done a tremendous job making sure those people get everything they need.
Yes, thank you.
You're
And I'll
welcome.
pass that along to their staff as well.
Thank you.
Kim Majors has just done a fabulous job.
She
out there.
is.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to read the resolution? The proclamation, I should say.
Whereas 34.1 million American adults are estimated to have diabetes, diagnosed and undiagnosed, including nearly 464,000 Kentuckians, it's 13%, reporting that they have diabetes, making Kentucky the 7th highest in the United States for prevalence of diabetes, a serious disease that has no cure and can be associated with complications that threaten both length and quality of life. And whereas nearly an additional 112,000 adult Kentuckians are estimated to be living with undiagnosed diabetes based on the national rate, and 317,642 adult Kentuckians, which is 11.2%, report being told that they have prediabetes, a condition that puts them at increased risk for developing type 2 diabetes. But most remain unaware that they have the condition, applying the national rate of 1 in 3 adults having prediabetes to Kentucky. The number with prediabetes may be as high as 1.1 million. And whereas diabetes is the 6th leading cause of death by disease in Kentucky and in the nation, Kentucky has the 4th highest diabetes mortality rate in the nation. And diabetes can be associated with complications that threaten both length and quality of life, such as blindness, heart disease, kidney failure, stroke, and leg or foot amputations. And whereas diabetes costs Kentucky over $5 billion in total medical expenditures, lost work, and lost wages each year, and whereas an increase in community awareness of risk factors and symptoms related to prediabetes and diabetes, as well as evidence-based interventions that can improve outcomes and quality of life among those with and at risk for diabetes, can increase the likelihood that they will seek out education, support, and treatment early in the course of the disease. And whereas structured lifestyle change programs such as National Diabetes Prevention Program have been proven to prevent or delay type 2 diabetes in adults with prediabetes. and accredited recognized diabetes self-management education and support programs that support appropriate self-care and behavior changes strategies critical to managing diabetes have been shown to improve diabetes outcomes. Now therefore, I, Brad Schneider, Judge Executive Henderson County, do hereby proclaim November 2021 as Diabetes Awareness Month in Henderson County and urge all citizens to help fight this disease and its life-threatening complications by increasing awareness of the risk factors for diabetes.
Thank you for all the work you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Thomas, if you want to come take this and
thank you.
absolutely give our compliments to your colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In old business, I do have a bit of old business. You remember me mentioning that we had to hire a new maintenance chief with the retirement of Charlie Ransom, and at the time we asked permission to go out and find a new person to handle that job and ask for a pay range, and you approved that. And I'd like to introduce James Bosler. James, would you mind coming up to the stand, please, the microphone? James is a Henderson native, and I do appreciate Magistrate Berry helping make a connection that allowed us to have James come in and interview, and you did a great job. Welcome aboard, James.
Thank you.
I want to tell the court a little bit about yourself.
Born and raised here in Henderson. Love it. I've moved out of town, came back. It's just a nice place to be. That's really about it. Really don't have much else to say.
You've got off to a running start, drinking out of a fire hose definitely, because Charlie left us a bit sooner than I had anticipated, but jumped right in, already helping find some things in the courthouse that we could make a little bit better, learning more about the Judicial Center. He's working with 2 part-timers at the moment, and it's working out well.
Yes.
See, and getting a lot of help. I appreciate all the department heads who are helping James get more familiar with everything that goes on here. It's a big job, especially when you consider the Judicial Center. It's kind of a never-ending mountain to climb. So we have hired James, and I really appreciate you being here. And if you don't mind, at some point, getting everybody your phone number, or we'll spread it around in case anybody needs to get a hold of you. But James is a man, and welcome aboard. We're going to start James out at 38 after a 38,000 after a period of orientation, 6 months. We can bump him up to 40. And as you know, Charlie, as you may recall, Charlie artificially asked to have his salary reduced in order to make his, I guess, his Social Security payments as advantageous as could be. So we will actually be bumping up that line item. We'll bring that to you later in the year when it actually exceeds it. We're going to have to, because Charlie, it was a good deal for a while, but then Charlie always knew he was going to retire. So thank you very much. I think you're going to enjoy it. You've already off to a good start, and I appreciate you, James.
I look forward to working with y'all.
Yeah,
Thank
welcome
you.
aboard.
Thanks, James.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to make sure we have it on record, can I get a motion to that effect, everything I just discussed?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
Well, he did it before me.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. To Good of the County, anybody from the audience who'd like to come up and say anything for Good of the County? I see our former sheriff in the audience. Welcome, Ed. Glad you're here. Anybody? Yes, Renisa. Oh. Bill's going to beat you to it.
I just wanted to give the court an update that we're just about finished with the blacktopping on all the county roads. The asphalt company's experiencing some issues, just like everybody else, with having truck drivers to deliver the product to their pavers. So they should finish up this week, hopefully, with everything except the walking trail at the park, and we should have that done next month before the weather turns bad. So we'll have that taken care of. Our federal highway grant, federal highway fundings on that grant for that walking trail. So.
I'd just like to comment on the blacktop, and I went out, was it Ridgewood that goes towards Spotsville? The blacktop is really, I think, much better than I've seen it in the past, and I really like it not having that seam down the middle.
It makes a big difference, Magistrate McCollum, not having that center seam in them. If they have the capability, and most of our roads are narrow enough that they can do that, not that we want them to be narrow, but it does make a huge difference keeping that cold joint out of the road paving to help, I think, will really help with the longevity of our roadway system. So.
Another good reason to get right-of-ways at every opportunity we can.
Are they on track, Bill, pulling the curbs back, pulling the shoulders back?
We've been pulling back since last month, and we're continuing to move forward with that, and we're going to try to pull some of it back with the motor grader. We don't want the asphalt to cure out, though. We don't want to get that blade on that new asphalt.
Right.
So we got to be very careful what we do there. It's a slower process using the gradols, but it's, we make sure we don't damage the asphalt.
Right.
So,
You know why I asked, I had to ask that.
yeah, I know.
So I know where we're at.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
We get it set.
Renisa?
I just wanted to say James is doing a great job right off the bat. Hit the ground running, great communication. Good job. I'm looking forward to working with him. So, and also Bill Hubiak and his team, excellent. They just helped with I know you heard the claims we had for my cabinets for the plats. He got in there, his team, they moved everything for me, took it to the shredder, the old ones. So, I mean, just a great team effort and really appreciate them. And I also want to talk about the 2022 filing instructions for everyone. I know you'll be interested in that. Anybody that wants to be on the ballot in the May primary of 2022, you can get everything online now. You can go to sos.ky.gov and you can fill in all the information. It asks you what office you're seeking, what party you are, and then the packet prints out for you. You just go in there and do that. We also have some available in the office if, you don't wish to do it that way, but I just want to make everybody aware of that. And there's also instructions on the Henderson County website under my office. So just wanted to let everybody know. Filing, you can begin doing that November the 3rd. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, you can always call or come see me.
Charles?
Judge and everyone, just a quick couple of things. We don't want to forget the Day of the Dead. I can't remember the
Dia de los Muertos, yeah.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. This Saturday from 4 to 7, I believe.
That's right.
Great article in our Gleaner this past Sunday. So we certainly want to get out and support that event for our Hispanic and Latino population community and let them know how much we appreciate all their work and effort. Also, November the 16th, and I'll send the flyer to Brother Kirk so he can get that to you. November 16th at 5:45 p.m. to 7:45 p.m., the Henderson County Human Rights Commission is sponsoring a town talk. We're going to be addressing data-driven policing, working closely with our Henderson County Police Chief, Chief Cox, also our county sheriff. Sheriff Crafton will be present on that panel along with Judge Executive, our mayor, Robbie Mills,
Jonathan
Dixon. And so they'll be on that panel to discuss that information, just educate our community, look for ways that we can improve that. So I'll get that flyer to you so we can announce it as we go closer into that. So we appreciate everyone's support.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Nobody else in the audience like to say anything good to the county? We will switch to the magistrates, and I'm going to change it up so Tim has less pressure. Magistrate McCollum, you want to get us started?
Well, I want to thank everybody, and I'd like to thank our county attorney's office and Bill Hubiak. I'd hate for I see his head just sort of swelling with all this praise, but everybody's done such a good job, and I really, if we'll just keep on with the COVID, it's going down. I think I just don't want it to resurge again, and hope that everybody can stay safe. I know Amy is really struggling at the jail with the COVID incidences, and that's going down. But I'm just hopeful that people will start wanting to go back to work and they feel like they can go back to work in this situation. But everything else is, all my roads have been taken care of. Hubiak's done that and taken care of my ditches. So everything's good in the 5th.
Thank you. Master Barry.
Thank you for the blacktop, Charlie.
Yes.
That's what bit we got from you.
Absolutely.
It was well used.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, Renisa, for the good words for James. Thank you, James, and Bill and Amy. I know you got a terrible, tough job, but we appreciate you doing the best you can. I know you are. And congratulations to Zaylen over there. You still awake there, Zaylen? Is it as boring as you thought it might be? Some days it's not this bad, really. It's not as boring, but sometimes it is. Yeah. All right. Congratulations to the parents. Fine young man. Shows your hard work. Just keep it up. I think that's it, Judge. Everything's good in the 1st.
Thank you. Mr. Gold.
Judge, things are good at the county attorney's office. Like everywhere, experiencing a little bit of turnover, but we're rolling with it, and I think going to be stronger for it in the long run. Congratulations, Zaylen. He seemed to be a great young man. Met him on the way in. You know, I told you on the way in, we do things that are boring but important sometimes. And, you know, one of the things that I think are a couple of things that we've seen today are important lessons that we can all do on our lives. You've seen what kind of team we have with the county, you know, with the county engineer talking about things going on at the road department, the jailer, the county clerk, the treasurer, all these folks coming in, animal control, all the things that come together, the sheriff's office, all these different groups come together to make a team that makes this county work. And then you've also heard a lot of expressions of gratitude where people are thanking other people for the job they do and the way they've helped them. And I think that's something that can translate to any part of your life. You know, you've got a lot to be grateful for. You've got a great family that supports you. You've got your school and your principal that clearly think a lot of you because they chose you to be here. So a lot of things to be grateful for. So I would encourage you to kind of take those lessons that you've seen here about good teamwork, which I know you're already doing, and being grateful for those people in your life. So hopefully there was something that wasn't too boring and maybe something you can take from today. But congratulations, and know that once you get out of here, you still have that proclamation that makes today your day. Nobody else has today their day. It is your day, and enjoy lunch. You're going to lunch with Judge Schneider.
Can't wait.
So you know, order double dessert or whatever it is. Make him pay for as much as you can, okay? Congratulations.
All right, Master Putman.
Congratulations, Zaylen, and thank you, Judge, but congratulations. Ditto, everything they said. And congratulations to the parents. I know you got to be awfully proud, and all is good in the 4th. That's a hard line to follow. I'll tell you that. Thank you, Judge.
I agree. Master Moran.
I too would like to congratulate Zaylen. As a retired teacher, I appreciate hardworking students, and I appreciate supportive parents. I do indeed. And I would also like to thank Bill and Amy because of all their hard work. They do so much. And congratulate James on his new positions. And as far as I know, all's well in the 2nd District.
Excellent. Master Southern.
Congratulations, and I'm the last one.
Not quite.
It's special to get picked by your school to represent them, and you have to be a special person to get that honor. So that says a lot about you, a lot about your parents, grandparents. It takes a lot of people to raise up a good young person. So again, congratulations, and all's good in District 3.
Thank you. Zaylen, I'm interested to see after this meeting's over where we're going to lunch. And Mr. Good always says, you know, buy 2 desserts. heck, on your day, you can have nothing but desserts if you really want to. Entirely up to you and your family. I'm sure they'll have something to say about that. But I'm just offering. But congratulations, and we're going to talk more here in a little bit. A couple updates. I'm glad Reverend Johnson brought up Day of the Dead this Saturday. One thing that he pointed out, and it's kind of the theme of the whole festival, is inclusiveness and making sure that we reach out to all of our citizens to make sure they know we appreciate all of them and the contribution they make to this community. But it is even more than just recognizing our Hispanic neighbors. It's for everybody. This festival is for everybody, and all are welcome. It's a great cultural event. It's both educational and just plain fun. It is from 4 to 7. It's free. Come and go as you please. We had this 2 years ago, 2019, and during that 3-hour period that we were doing our thing, about 1,000 people, we estimate, rotated through the park, came through the park and checked it out. We are not sure how the pandemic will impact our attendance this year, but if any of the other festivals that have been held this year are any indication, we might even have more. People are still in the mood to get out, and it's an outdoor festival, so a little safer that way. Another wrinkle this year is we're going to have a vaccination station. There will be a team from Deaconess Henderson offering the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccines, and our Latino society here is one of the least vaccinated segments of our community. So we'd like to help that a little bit if we can, and anybody else who'd like a free vaccine. So that will be available. We also are not going to be doing the face painting, unfortunately, because we thought having somebody sit in front of a kid's face in close proximity and work about 20 minutes on a design on their face wouldn't probably be the safest thing. So we're going to allow them to paint masks that Deaconess Henderson's providing, white masks, and let them decorate those and then wear those in the park. We thought that was a good compromise. So we're really looking forward to it. We invite you all out. If you got grandkids, kids, bring them out. They'll love it. It's a lot of fun. Couple things. With James on board now, we also are in the process of looking to fill the position that Brent Hepner will be leaving at the end of this calendar year. Brent, our occupational tax administrator, I might have mentioned this last meeting, so apologize if I'm repeating myself, but he is going to be resigning at the end of the calendar year, not because he's not happy or because he hasn't done a great job. It's just he's now an empty nester, and he and his wife would love this chance to go see things and maybe be out a little bit more, gone and vacationing and things like that. So he thought it would be best to make that transition now, and gave me a several month heads up on that. And so we're in the process of finding a replacement for him. It will be tough because he's done a wonderful job, and as you well know, he's really helped keep our financial situation here at the county stable. We appreciate all that he's done. As you know, we have produced a State of the County video with the help of Darren Fegley, and you got a preview of that. I am told the Chamber of Commerce will be using both ours and the mayor's this week. So hold off on spreading that around. Maybe have the Chamber have the first hoorah in presenting that to everybody. But after that, as we mentioned before when we were making it, we'd like to produce it in such a way that it can be used on other platforms for our purposes if we want to. And so we will. We hope it was done. I think it was done in a way that makes it kind of flexible and usable in different audiences. ARPA funding. We had a finance committee meeting yesterday talking about ARPA funding, and as you know, we spent I think close to $2 million. I think both on making the jail whole for some of its losses and adding more money to our asphalt program, and also donating money for workforce development efforts at community college and $300,000 for nonprofits here. The ARPA money that's left, we are really, at this point, the Finance Committee is holding it close to the vest because of two things we really want to make sure we get done with it, and that is, number one, is broadband internet coverage, and Kenergy is in the process of working through the PSC process for enabling its next step in becoming an internet provider. We are waiting for the end of that PSC process to see if there's any way that the ARPA money that we have can be put into the pot to fund the deal and maybe even speed up the amount of time it takes to get more internet available in our county. And what Kenergy is proposing now is 1 gigabyte speeds with fiber to the home capability, and which is really outstanding. And in the neighborhood of $50 to $60 a month cost, which is also outstanding. And the reason that they can do that at that cost is they already own all the poles, they already own all the easements. Getting that set up won't be as arduous for them as it might be for a private provider who doesn't have all that equipment and infrastructure. So we are waiting, kind of keeping our powder dry on that to see how our ARPA money can help. The other thing we're waiting for is for the Water District to get back to us on some projects that we might be able to help with them, especially when it comes to getting water to people who don't have it now, clusters of homes around the county that for various reasons might not have access to that system. Maybe our money can help change that. And so we're waiting on some reports from our Water District to see what makes sense. And so stay tuned. In case you were wondering what the next step with our ARPA funds are, that's where we stand at the moment, and I'll ask the Finance Committee members if that accurately summarizes what we've talked about.
Yes, it does.
Yep. Finally, I'd like to, in Magistrate Southern's honor, remind everybody that harvest is still ongoing. There's still farm implements on the roads around the county, and some of those roads are pretty skinny. So patience, please, for everybody who gets stuck behind a combine or a truck. It'll soon be over, maybe another 2-3 weeks.
Hopefully.
Yeah, weather holds, and I'm sure every farmer in the community is looking forward to getting that taken care of, but patience is still needed for at least a little while. So that is all I've got, and with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. All those in favor, Zalen, can leave.
Zaylen, nice to have met you. Good luck. And I just want you to think about all 14, 15 years about being county attorney.